Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Illustration Department podcast. My name is Giuseppe Castellano. In this podcast, I talk to folks in illustration, graphic design, publishing, animation, and other creative fields about their work, the lessons they've learned, and the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. In this episode, my guests are award-winning cartoonist, author, and comedian Jason Chatfield, and award-winning illustrator and creator of 10-Minute Artist on Substack, Adam Ming. Since its founding in 2017, Substack has become a go-to platform for illustrators to share their work and connect with other creators while building revenue in the process. Among other topics, Jason, Adam, and I talk about why we each joined Substack and what we like and don't like about it. We share how Substack can benefit illustrators creatively and financially. And Jason and Adam provide advice for anyone who may join or has already joined Substack. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Adam, did you change your mind?
No, I did not. I froze and then the whole page froze. It says the page was not responding. So I don't know
if inauspicious is the correct word to use there, but it is an inauspicious beginning to this new program I'm using. I'm pretty sure I'm using that word correctly. Adam, Is it really 3:00 a.m. where you are?
It is. I just finished a writing retreat, which I'm co-hosting.
That's right.
Beta testing, and it's
when do you sleep? Do you sleep?
It depends. It depends on the schedule.
Depends on the day.
So I have this ability to switch things about more like the week. So this came at a good time because I'm up anyway.
Wow. I mean, I've seen you on Substack posting all the time. I've seen like you're I wouldn't say fairly. You're really active online, and now we know why. You just don't sleep. That's the secret.
I have a nice balanced life.
All right, so
that's the perks of being an.
What's that?
I was gonna say that's a perk of being an illustrator. You get to dictate your life and not do 9 to 5. So I take it a little bit to the extreme.
I mean, that's the thing with illustration is that it's all perks, no cons, right, guys?
Oh yeah,
yeah, exactly. This is the Substack episode. Let's start with Adam because Adam. I mean, obviously, Jason, I've seen what you've been up to on Substack, but when I started Substack, it was January of 2024.
Wow. Yeah.
And Adam, you were already pretty active there. Jason, when did you start?
2020.
Oh, okay. And Adam, when did you start?
I feel 2021. So Jason, you're old school.
Right. Old school.
Well,
old school Jason.
But I didn't know what I was doing, and I was analysis paralysis in 2020. It was October of 2020, and it was brand new, and no one knew what they were doing. So I was very just flailing and just figuring out what the hell this was. Yeah.
And that was just a handful of years ago. It didn't have notes back then, I don't think. Notes is relatively new.
That's right.
And it just seems like they didn't have Substack Live. You couldn't do video, and now you can. So there's a lot of things that obviously it's doing. But Adam, one of the things that I was doing was essentially going and visiting everyone's, that I recognized their pages, trying to get a sense of how to set things up. I mean, one of the things that I, to this day, still find a touch frustrating is the interface and how to, design your page and where are your settings. And I have to always Google, how do I do that again? But Adam, I mean, when you started, why did you start? What were your experiences in those first months?
Why did I start? It was an exciting time for me because I had just gotten my agent or was about to get my agent. So I was moving from a place of wanting to be an illustrator to very quickly seeing the dream happen in real time.
Right.
And so I was writing about that. And I think that was great. I had very high energy. And all the work that went into getting to this point had kind of collected. So people were following what I did. And so when I did get the agent and announced it, people were interested and they were asking like, oh, how did you do that? And so it started as a place to answer the question instead of one by one on DMs. I could just write it and send them a link. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how it started. And the plan really was just to document what I was doing.
And Jason, you didn't know what you were doing. You still don't know what you were doing. No, I'm kidding. What
I still don't.
What's the why for you as far as getting onto Substack and now doing what you're doing?
Well, it was twofold because my mailing list was always, it started as me handing out cards with a QR code on it outside my comedy shows every night.
Right.
So that if I did well, if I didn't, I would make myself scarce. But
You bomb,
it
and then
was
you
to
hand
get
everyone
people.
your postcard,
Yeah,
and they crumple it up and throw it at you.
yeah, I give them Adam's QR code. No, but I had a moment where I was realizing that by building a mailing list instead of like a social media, like focusing on social media, I could email those people every week and say where I was going to be performing, and they would kind of show up,
Right.
and then the bookers, it was a very mercenary thing, but like the bookers would be like, oh, this guy seems to always bring people, so let's book him again. And so I did like a weekly email for years, and so I was always a very staunch advocate for newsletters over, or email stuff over social media. And then I saw that everyone was trying something. MailChimp kept charging me every time I got more subscribers. It would kind of punish you for being successful.
Right.
And yeah, I just saw that Substack kind of combined the baby of like Patreon, MailChimp, and WordPress. And I'm lazy, so it just did all the other stuff for me, the marketing and all the stuff I hate, the marketing, the promotion, all the, finding your people. That was kind of it. It was just me being lazy. So I jumped ship from MailChimp and imported my list to Substack, and I grew with it, I guess, because it didn't know what it really was until, it still kind of is figuring it out. But yeah, that was my why.
Yeah, I think for me it was I had MailChimp as a newsletter. I'm with you on newsletters. I think newsletters obviously are vital if you want to establish a practice as a creative person.
Yeah.
MailChimp, it was annoying, didn't really give me what I wanted to do. Then once Squarespace developed, like they had their own newsletter, finally you could like have everything in one shot. I ditched MailChimp, stayed with Squarespace as far as the newsletter and all the the collection of all the data, all the emails and stuff, and that's fine.
Right.
And I still have that, and I still use that. I email those folks every week. Then Substack comes around, and to your point, I mean, it's this built-in infrastructure. It's like where if you're going to go fishing, go where the fish are. And so instead of telling the fish, come to me.
Right.
I felt like, well, everyone's going to Substack already. It's already getting a lot of hype, and it is situated in a way that it like aligns perfectly with what it is that I want to do as a creative person, writing, showing some art, and developing a community. And that's what it hit all the notes. So now I went over there, and again, January of 2024. So this is now a year and a half and change.
Right.
The newsletter subscribers on Substack, my brain is so slow today, guys. I'm so exhausted. Is 3 times the number of my newsletter through Substack.
Wow.
Originating via MailChimp, which is about 10 years old. Does that make sense? So 10 years of this newsletter number, in a year and a half, I've tripled it on Substack.
That's amazing. And they're real people too. Like it's not that you don't have a bot problem, knock on wood. They're real human beings. It's an interesting, and I think a lot of that is the recommendation engine. That really helps, and
it does.
And to a degree, notes. But I mean, I don't put too much stock in finding people on notes. But I think the community aspect of it, like you, especially the illustration department, it's always been very community heavy. So I think Substack is perfectly built for that kind of thing. So
it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It was definitely a no-brainer for me.
Right. Yeah.
Adam, what have you found? We'll go up and down. On the upside, what have you found to be the biggest benefit for you and your creative practice? Conversely, what has been the most frustrating part of Substack in your experience thus far?
I like how simple it was. When I came on, I think one of the biggest reasons was how simple it was. Like everyone's looks the same. There's some places to fill in your description, pictures, and that's it. And that was nice in the beginning because I don't want to spend my time designing a website.
Right.
I just want to like say what I need to say. If I need to put in an image, great. I also love the business model, and I think that's so important that it wasn't about advertising. So we're not working for advertisers, but
Right.
they only get paid if we get paid.
Exactly.
So they're incentivized to help us. So yeah, those were great reasons to get on.
And that's, I mean, let's get to that right away, right? I mean, let's be human and let's be honest. It is a moneymaker too.
Yeah.
I quit Patreon because Substack was doing so well.
Amazing.
And that was about $1,000 a month, source of income for me, for the illustration department.
Right.
Patreon just didn't have the infrastructure, and it was so frustrating there's like a little bit of a chat room element in Patreon, and Patreon's fine. Substack has it, just laps it when it comes to community building. So it's just like, well, that's a no-brainer as well. So quit Patreon, fully on Substack. I don't think I heard it down. Do you feel like, Adam, it's more complicated now?
It is. The features keep coming out, and they're not necessarily something you want to use, but you do get incentivized to try the features.
Yeah.
Like, I do feel you get a little bit more traction if you try the different features. And you always feel like, oh, maybe I should be doing a live. Maybe I should be writing notes. And I don't think you should. Well, that's the thing. When you start to think about what you should be doing rather than what you want to be doing, I feel that becomes a little bit of a problem.
Exactly.
So. And
Jason, up and down. What's the one up and one down?
The one up is like truly it's the recommendation engine for me. It's finding it's really niching down and getting as specific as possible. Instead of trying to please the whole world, like I'm really allowed now to just get super esoteric and very, very specific, and my people just kind of find me because of this recommendation engine, which is really, really good. And I do like that it does build a bit of a community. It does. I do feel like I'm finding my people, or the Kevin Kelly 1,000 True Fans thing. Like, I have paid subscribers. I was very sheepish about that, about turning on paid for years. But I do like that it just feels like a very organic relationship. It doesn't feel contrived. I like that. To me, that's the big thing. I'm having a one-to-one relationship with people who have opted in,
right? And
I can take them anywhere. That's like if I don't like Substack, or they get bought by someone, and which probably won't happen, but you never know. You can export your mailing list and just take it somewhere else. I think it's the best thing about it, really. Is that you can just bail if you want to.
I agree.
Take them with you. You don't get to take your Instagram followers with you.
No, exactly. And you're down.
The down for me, so I don't use chat at all. There's a lot of features I don't use. Feature creep is always, I'm very dubious about it because I don't know if it was Casey Newton or someone coined the term enshittification of a platform. It's defined as it's the process where online platforms and services, after initially offering like a good user experience, they degrade in quality or become less user-friendly over time because of increased focus on monetization and profit. But as Adam said, their motivation, their incentive is for you to make money because they get a cut. And so they're not trying to please advertisers. They're not trying to build this weird algorithm that makes people angry. They're genuinely just trying to let you find your people and have them pay you, and they'll take a cut. So to me, the down is really just like too many features, I think. And I get that some people use them and it's really handy, but I do feel like my favorite thing in the world is there's a great book called Company of One, that I really liked, which was like do one thing well, and I like apps that just do one thing and they just stick to it. They don't keep trying to be everything to everyone. So I do think feature creep is an issue with Substack.
Yeah. So back to the money part, I think my up is certainly the community thing and also the financial thing. My down, it could be a bit more intuitive in terms of like when you begin. I mean, it took me a couple of months to figure it out. And like I said it before, like, I went to Adam's page, I went to a bunch of people's pages and just tried to figure out how did they do that? How did they set up their pages to look that way? And then I would, try it. And I went to Austin Kleon's page and a bunch of other folks and just try to emulate. And it took way longer than it should have taken to set up the page the way I wanted it set up. And to this day, I'm always going in there going like, what does this switch do? And I switch it on. The other day I switched something on that I should have had switched since the beginning. And anyway, but let's focus on the money part. You do get paid subscribers, and at some point, I think after, what is it, 100 paid, you get like there's like 3 different colored check marks. After 100 paid, you get one color. 1,000 paid, you get another color, and I don't know what the next tier is.
I think it's 10,000.
10,000, yeah.
Plus, yeah.
Dare to dream. Dare to dream. But yeah, and the thing that I I'm not going to say how much money I get a month. I will say though, it's not as much as I'd like. It's a hell of a lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
So we'll stick to that. The one down monetarily for me is I loved Patreon. They had it totally set up correctly in terms of you can get paid one big lump at the end of the month.
Sure.
Substack does not do that. It kind of like trickles into your account. So one day you get like $5, and then 3 days later you get nothing, and then 4 days later you get $117. You can't quite count on like, oh, on this day, it's not a paycheck. On this day I'm going to get this much money. Right. I don't. It's weird to even say it this way. I feel like, I don't know, first world problem or something. I'm like, I wish I could get all of it at once. But that's a weird. It's like a dependability thing that I wish they had. Patreon has it. Why can't Substack have it?
Right. Yeah. I think you're right about that. It would be nice if they just banked it all up if there was like a day of the month that it all just went through, like Patreon.
Or you could say, you know what, you guys keep it just like as an account. And that would be great too.
Yeah, Cartoon Stock does that, and a few other places do that. Condé Nast, and like there are certain things where it hits a threshold and then they pay you as well. It's
right.
Like, well, it'll cash you out as soon as you hit, I don't know, $100, $300, whatever it is.
Right.
Just so it doesn't like mess with your taxes or your cash flow.
Exactly.
But yeah, having your bank account have all these little Stripe transactions, it like buries your bank statement in just pages and pages of, and I still get like a printed bank statement because I like to go through with a highlighter because I'm an old man, and I just like to check my what's going on and what's coming out, like subscriptions and all that kind of stuff. And it just buries it in these Stripe payments. Again, first world problem. Oh, all this money, but it just
I have an idea.
It could probably be a little more finesse.
Wait, Adam, before your idea, let me run downstairs and get a charger for my computer. I was so excited to talk to you guys. I forgot to even get the charger. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Hold on.
Okay.
Cool.
That's all good. Adam, it's
how
3
you doing,
a.m.
Jason?
there, right?
What?
I'm pretty good. It's at 3 a.m. there?
It is. This was the original time we scheduled our call.
I remember, yeah. I noticed you did on your Substack, you were doing a challenge, like a daily, you're doing like lessons, really. I mean, you're doing a bunch of stuff. I don't know how you find the time with so much stuff.
It's not lessons, but I've always been doing the daily prompts, but I think I've just tried to make it look more professional. And it's helped.
Yeah. It's good.
It does help.
It looks really good. I mean, your all the branding's very consistent, and the 10-minute artist stuff is fantastic. I think, I don't know do you use chat at all?
I don't use chat. I think I'm terrible at it, the branding, and I hate that I have to make an image every single time I want to write a post. But yeah, I'm just trying to get better at it. I do use chat actually.
Whoa.
I do
Hold on,
have
guys, be
a
right back.
gallery.
You do. Oh, okay.
So if you do the prompts,
cool.
and if I remember, I'll give you a link to post in the gallery. And I think it's quite helpful. People appreciate that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to
Wendy
do it.
Mac does that too, but she does it on a weekly basis. And people like to be seen. So if you have an audience and you get a chance to showcase people, I think it's one motivation for people to pay.
Interesting. Okay. So that's a paid thing only.
Yeah. I think they're already doing me a service if they are sharing their work, because I can then reshare their work. It serves both of us. They get seen, I get content.
All right.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he was back. Yeah, he's back.
I'm totally leaving this in. So I ran downstairs to get the charger. Came back up, plugged my computer in, wasn't working. Remembered that I had turned off the circuit breaker to this room because I was doing some electricity work. Ran all the way back down, came back up. I'm leaving this in.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. I can't believe I'm out of breath. Yeah.
Wow. The commitment to your audience.
I'm amazed though that you show up and you get it done like at the end of a busy week, and I think that's something so commendable.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I did want to talk about consistency. We'll talk a little bit about for folks listening, what are some tips, and we'll get there in a second, but I don't know where I picked this up, but whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's podcasting, creating art, being on social media, consistency. Be consistent.
Yep.
Don't worry about mastering anything. I'm actually writing something for Substack at the moment, early draft, on how overrated mastering is.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to master Substack, you don't have to master watercolor or Instagram or whatever. You can just do it, and be consistent about it. And that's what I try to do with the podcast. I don't want to miss a week.
Right.
So whatever, man. Plus, how hard is this really? I'm sitting down. Yes, I'm out of breath. I'm talking to two guys who I totally respect and love you guys, your guys' work. Well, so this is not work. This is fun.
You're playing it down. This is work.
It's work. You're doing you're working, but if it's fun, some people kind of can be dismissive about something that is work if it is also fun. They're like, oh, it must be nice, But it is work. It's you're contributing something of value, and it takes effort, and it's work.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, I'll take that. Adam, I interrupted you, and you were going to say something.
Oh, you guys were saying
something. I've lost track.
Yeah, sure. We were talking about money, and you guys were talking about how you prefer all the money at the end of the month, for example. So my idea was both of you can send your Substack monies to me, and I'll give you guys a paycheck at the end of the month. How's that sound?
We just trust you.
All right. Adam, just tell us really quickly, what is your bank account number? Whatever other identifying numbers and factors that we need to set that up for
I
you.
actually like getting the Stripe every other day, every day. It's motivating. It kind of tells you what's working and what's not working, and you can see that in a tangible dollar value. Like, this amount of effort rewards you this much, that effort doesn't reward you as much. I think that's a nice response to I write every day, so it's nice to know.
Yeah. And better in than out, right? If you're going to get $5 every couple of days in your bank account, that's preferable than going the other way. So, can't complain, I suppose.
I never really thought about it that way, Adam, but you're kind of right about, and it plays into the consistency thing, Giuseppe, is that sometimes it does motivate you to be more consistent, because if you notice that there's these emails that say you just got $6, you just got $60, whatever it is, you feel compelled to continue, and you feel like it's a motivator to continue being consistent, showing up. Because for me, it's guilt. I didn't turn on paid for a long time. I felt so sheepish about asking people for money. And once I did, it wasn't that I was always motivated to post. I was guilty. I was like, oh my God, people are paying money for this now? I have to do this. I'm obligated to do this.
Yeah, same. But the thing about the paid component of all of this is, for folks who are completely new to Substack, let's for everyone listening who's like, what the hell are you talking about? There's the $5, you can pay $5 a month, and you get all of this. You get access to all of the, whoever you subscribe to, all of their writings and posts and whatnot. A lot of people will do like a post that has no paywall, and then a post that does, and then one that doesn't. All of my posts have paywalls, and that's something that I've grappled with over the past year. Is how many should there be some for folks who are subscribing but not paid subscribing? What should I be doing for them? And I do grapple with it. I don't know what the answer to that is. Maybe the answer is nothing. I stick with staying paid the entire time. But the point I'm trying to make is, let's say I love Jason. I love your publication, Adam, I love yours, and I love 17 other publications. I can't pay all of you guys $5 a month. Yeah. And there's got to be a solution to that. That, I think, is something they should be working on.
I agree. I think a publication. Yeah, what were your thoughts on it? Because you had some big. We were talking about this a little bit, I think, when we did a Substack Live on my show. Is about like the idea of publications. Subscribing to one overarching publication that all the contributors are in, and we all get a split or something.
Okay,
yeah, I think that would be great.
Yeah,
but I have so many different thoughts at the same time here. Let me see.
Okay.
First of all, you said that yours is paid and you're thinking about making some free stuff. I like that yours is paid, and I like the way you do it because you always give very clear value at the top. Like, we're going to talk about this very valuable thing. If you are interested in this thing, this is for you. And you've built that trust and that reputation. And so it's like buying a magazine. If I want to know that stuff, then I'll pay and come in, and I could come in for a month. True. Or I could subscribe. And I think that's a great model.
People do that.
I think the way you do it is awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, I have seen people do that where they'll subscribe for a couple of months and then cancel and then use that $5 a month for someone else, cancel that, and they'll jump around to other publications. That's very doable and common, apparently.
Mm-hmm. And for the other thing, I feel there's like a kind of golden rule to it. Like, people subscribe to my thing, and so that enables me to subscribe to other people's things. And so the more people subscribe to my thing, the more I can subscribe to other people, and that way the money flows. So that again motivates me, because if I make better work, more people subscribe to me, I get to subscribe to more people. So that's this like positive flow going around.
You guys, I'm sure you guys know more about this than I do. I'm the newbie in this group, Substack newbie. I think if you, as a user, listener, or any one of us, recommend some, like, a certain number of publications, you get like free access to a certain publication. There are rewards, is what I'm trying to get at.
The publication will have to turn that on. For example, if I turn it on, you can get rewarded by referring me to a certain number of people. And I think that's quite win-win as well.
There it is. That might have been the thing that I turned on the other day.
Yeah,
pretty sure that is.
So with an audience like yours, you'd be able to read everybody's Substack for free, because when you recommend somebody, you hit all the thresholds and get the reward.
This podcast is produced by the Illustration Department, a global leader in online education for illustrators. Visit illustrationdept.com for offerings like mentorships and portfolio reviews, testimonials, our alumni showcase, our best-selling Substack, and more. That's illustrationdept.com. And now, back to our conversation. The point of this episode is, I mean, if I'm being honest, it's a little self-serving. I want more people to be on Substack. I do think it is incredibly valuable for illustrators. And yes, of course, I would like everybody to subscribe to my page, and your page, Adam, too. I do think it's a really great platform for illustrators. Frankly, I've read more, I've learned more, I've been introduced to other pages on Substack that I would never have seen elsewhere on Twitter or on Instagram. So it is valuable. And if for anyone who really wants a community, you don't have to pay a cent, and there's still a ton of value in Substack. Jason, what would be a tip? Beyond consistency, what would be a recommendation for folks who are like, you know what, I am going to jump into the Substack pool? What would you say to them?
I was just thinking about this today because someone asked me the same question about jumping in. Asher Perlman, who's a New Yorker cartoonist, he just joined yesterday, and we had this big, long conversation about the why. Like, why would I join Substack? How do I do it? What's the best advice? And the best advice I could give is advice that I was given by the global head of writer relations at Substack after I had made so many mistakes. I started 3 separate Substacks. I started one called Process Junkie, which is about the creative process. I started a podcast called Is There Something in This, which is about coming up with New Yorker cartoons with my writing partner. And I started New York Cartoons, which is my life as a comedian and cartoonist in New York. 3 separate Substacks.
Right.
Not sections, Substacks, individually. So people would subscribe, and I would have a different promise and a different value prop for each. I was treating it like a product. I was trying to think of it like a salesy way of thinking, right? Like, oh, I have a product to sell. Here's what I'm doing. I'm making a promise. I'm solving a problem. That is not how you approach Substack. They're subscribing to you. They're wanting to speak to you, and instead of you like blasting out some like megaphone to millions of people as if you're on a stage at Glastonbury or something, it's a one-to-one. You're in their inbox.
Right.
It's you building relationships with individuals, and to me, that was the biggest piece of advice, most valuable piece of advice I got, was give more than you take, and speak one-to-one with people, you know? I ended up combining all 3 of my Substacks into one, and I thought I was going to lose so many subscribers because I was like, ugh, they're going to hate this now. Quite the opposite happened. Not only did they stay, they started recommending it to more people because they were like, look how much value you get for this, for just like $6 a month. I was an idiot for not doing that first. I should have done that first. So my advice is, remember that they're subscribing to you. They're not necessarily subscribing to a product that you're selling them. You can sell them products, and that's great, and you can solve all kinds of problems for them. But really, it's you that they're showing up to see.
Yeah, exactly. Adam, what would be your big piece of advice?
I have the exact opposite take of you, Jason, which I think is interesting.
Love it.
And I started off it being me, and after a while, I just got so bored of myself, talking about myself. And I'm not saying that this is you, this is just me. Mm-hmm. But I think it's good to make it into a product, especially if you want to sell it. I actually have currently 2 Substacks that are active. One, I partner with Katie Stack, and she has an awesome Substack as well. So that one is like exclusively a product. We spend 20 hours a month on it. We do 1 live drawing workshop, and that's it. And everything else is like some free stuff to entice people to come to the paid stuff. I mean, the free stuff is valuable, but the real value comes from going to the workshop. So that's a product. It's 20 hours a week. And my 10-minute artist, I think of it as a product. It helps me focus.
Yeah.
Because when it was just me and I could go in all kinds of tangents, it's hard for me to give the audience what they want. And because I'm taking their money, I want to be clear what the deal is. So if I can be clear what I'm giving you, then I can take your money confidently, knowing that I'm giving you that value. So I try to refine that, and it's easier to sell.
Yeah. What I've found to be helpful for me, everyone has their own, individual experiences with this thing. Once I really settled into a groove of I'm writing to one person, it got so much easier and clearer, and writing was it never really was a chore, but it became something, again, fun. And I'm writing to one person. So the way I write is, you could do this. This happens to you. And I'm just pretending that I'm writing to one person. It's helped clarify my thoughts. I can see it in the replies. People will reply to my posts and say essentially the same thing, like, wow, it feels like you're really writing to me. And I get that from multiple people. So for folks who want to jump in, don't think that you have to please everybody. I know this sounds cliche. It is a cliche piece of advice in life. Like, if you try to please everyone, you won't please anyone. That's true. It is true. So try to post your art too. I mean, like, we've been talking a lot about writing, but that's what's so beautiful about Substack, is that there is a category called art and illustration.
Yep.
And so you can post your illustrations and your writing, and you can talk about all sorts of things that are of interest to you.
Yeah.
Because if it's interesting to you, of course it's going to be interesting to somebody else.
Yeah, that's great. And they have a comic section as well, which I love.
They do.
Can I add something to my tip?
Yeah, please. Okay. Go.
The tip would be to think about long-term value. So if you want to compare the time you spend on Instagram, for example, it's like you invest a lot making a video or a single post, writing an amazing caption, and it either makes it or it bombs, and then it's gone forever. But when it comes to Substack, it's more like you're creating a piece to put in your library. You're creating something valuable that you can use over and over again, and that might be on other social media as well. But if you think about creating things that are valuable, you're actually building up that archive. And so if you think about it long term like that, you don't have to be successful today with one post, but as you build up this archive, you're creating this huge value that you can exchange later.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. You're building a corpus of material that over time creates more value, and it only ever adds to that value because you're building kind of an archive for, and not to be too morbid about it, but whenever you Google an artist's work now, and this is maybe a different conversation, but all sorts of slop comes up, like clip art and rip-offs and AI versions of art, and you don't really have control over your legacy after you're gone. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you have a deliberate method of building this body of work and putting it all in one place. And I hope like hell that Substack stays around and doesn't become Vine or something. It feels like you are actually doing something of value. You are building something, and you can call back to it if someone asks, hey, and I do this all the time now. Someone asked me the other day if I do like production design on theater stuff. I'm like, yeah, here's a post I wrote about it 2 years ago. I feel like that's a really valuable part of it that some people don't even think about. They think it's just like sending out emails. It's not. You're building an online archive, and I think that's really valuable.
Something I've been thinking about a lot lately is reposts. A good piece of advice for anyone using Instagram is there's no rule against posting something you posted a year ago or 6 months ago. Just because you posted a piece of art doesn't mean you can't post it again later. Substack, though, it doesn't really have a feature. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it has a feature where you can just say, you know what, for this week, I need a break. I'm not going to write anything this week, but I do want to repost that one post I wrote 3 years ago that got, no views because I just started. So let me just repost that one. Yeah. Let that one be the new one. There is no feature for that, right?
There is, the duplicate button. You do have to repost it, but it's the duplicate button. It's next to the 3 dots in the draft. If you go to your posts, and in there you can see that there's like your entire archive of published posts, and then next to the 3 dots you hit. I do this all the time. Because when I started, no one was reading. I had all these things I put time into, and no one was really reading it. There was like 20 people, and then I like the other day on the 4th of July, I had this fully illustrated piece that I'd published like 4 years ago, and I was like, I have over 18,000 subscribers now. Most people didn't see this, and so I felt not sheepish about reposting it because most people didn't see it first time around. So I do that all the time now.
So do you just duplicate and then hit post, or do you duplicate and say, hey, this is something that I wrote a couple of years ago? Here you go.
I do. I preface it by saying, this was first published in 2022 or whatever it was. And then just say, hey, thought you might enjoy it now. Because a lot of it is still relevant.
Of course. Jason, you mentioned the global head of writer relations. One of the things that I was a little infatuated with, and no longer, because I don't know, kind of gave up a little bit, and also just whatever, if it happens, it happens. It's like love, if you look for it, you won't find it. You'll find it once you stop looking for it. Is that's a old man wisdom for you guys. Is the what is it called? You get like a medallion. Oh my gosh, why is my brain not working at all today?
Oh, like a bestseller thing or a recommended publication, like featured publication.
There it is. Yes, featured publication medallion of some kind, and you can post it, and you're like, look what I got. And so I'm like, how do you get that? I'm reading stuff, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm following the people you're supposed to be following, the global head of writer relations, and all this sorts of stuff. Does that even? I mean, what is there anything there to talk about? Should we just be like, don't chase that and move on?
I think that's good advice. Never chase any of that stuff. It's like trying to get verified on some platform, or trying to get just if you do the work, the rewards will come. I never even knew that was a thing, and then I got an email one day saying, "Oh, we'd like to feature your post on whatever it was," and I was like, "Oh, okay, great. I didn't even know you guys were reading that. Cool, thanks." You get a little badge, and I added it to my logo because it kind of had some cachet to it back then. And I liked that it felt like, oh, okay, the people actually seem to be liking this. And I awards, I never really chase awards. I don't really think they do much aside from, even when you're selling a book, putting the blah, blah, blah award winner. I'm like, really? Does it really move the needle on anything?
It's nice. You worked for it.
It's nice. It's nice to have. It's a nice to have, but I don't recommend chasing it at all.
All right. Yeah. Adam, how into the top bestsellers list and the rising, the new, this is something that didn't exist a few months ago, the rising publications list. Like on Rising, the highest the notes on illustration got was 4, and I was above like Joyce Carol Oates and Rick Rubin, and I was just like, holy shit, this is awesome. And then the next day it's gone, of course. Top bestsellers, I mean, is there anything here that illustrators need to be concerning themselves with? Or I think I know the answer to this is don't worry about it, but Adam, what do you think?
So all of this week, I was number 1 and number 2 on the rising category, and the reason for that is actually because I had a sale. And so I've been doing
Show
this.
off.
I've been doing this sale thing, which is fascinating to discuss if you want to talk about that later. But yeah, number 1 and number 2. But I agree, it doesn't mean anything other than the fact that you can kind of get a sense how many subscribers each person is getting, because I think it just represents how many subscriptions you got in that day or past couple of days.
Subscriptions.
Paid subscriptions.
Paid.
So it's good.
Yeah.
It's good because it gives you that number. So if you're gunning for the bestseller list, you can kind of infer who's getting how much, and I don't even know if that's important. It's just a sense that you're improving.
I do find some value in not the rising, because the rising is so freaking fickle. It's crazy. I mean, congratulations you're currently number 2, Adam, right above Mac Barnett, who's number 3, nice. And so on. But the top bestsellers, the reason I love that one is when Notes and Illustration finally hit there, it was like 50. And yeah, it's a good feeling. Of course, you're putting in the work, you're putting in the time, and it's starting to get recognized, and it is an indicator of getting paid subscribers and where you stand. And then over time it creeps up, and it's incentivizing for sure. It's it's like video gamifying the whole experience. It's like, ooh, I'm 37 now. What can I do? Like, what will I be at the end of the year? Will I be 35? So there's a little bit of that for me.
I think the only growthiness thing that I focus on, and I try not to think about it at all, it's like chasing follower numbers on Instagram and stuff. I think
money.
Yeah, is money. Is the difference is, unlike on Instagram or whatever social media platform you have, if you do have an increase in subscribers, then if you have a paid tier, it's ups your gross annualized revenue. I mean, it converts to, and they say it's 3 to 4%. By the way, the average for free to paid is about 3 to 4% in conversion, which sounds about right. 10 is very high. If you can get 10, that's insane. But I mean, about 3 to 4% of your free subscribers will pay, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, if 10% of our free subscribers became paid subscribers, I would pass out. It would basically pay for like my son's college education, and and that's, again, dare to dream. And I mean, let's just be honest and real, and like that. Of course, that's something that you're thinking about. I can only speak for myself. That is something that I think about fairly often. It's like, well, this is an income revenue doesn't make any sense.
It's a revenue stream. Yeah.
And where can it go? And that's the exciting part. That's an exciting part, not the exciting part of this whole experience. Is where could it go?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Why is Rick Rubin in my category? I mean, that's the one frustrating part too. Is like, why do celebrities can't we just take all the celebrities and move them into their own categories?
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
It is, but if you end up in the same category as them, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think I have to be super transparent and honest here. My income, I've been a freelance cartoonist for over 20 years, and I used to have a syndicated comic strip. I was published in Mad Magazine and New Yorker, and I had a very traditional career as an illustrator and a cartoonist. There's no more newspapers, and there's no more syndicated comic strips. The magazine stuff, Mad Folded, the New Yorker is incredibly difficult to get into now because the pool is so big. And I was panicking. I genuinely panicked. And this is now my main form of income. Mm-hmm. Substack. The reason I spend and invest so much time in Substack is because I would like this to be my main and only thing that I sell my book through, that I sell commissions through. And that's a piece that Adam could probably speak to a little better, is that it's not just sending out an email and asking people to pay for your emails. It's you can email people and ask them to pay for a course you built or a book you wrote or a product you made. It's a way to find your people, but then also sell them things. So it's the second order effect of selling that is the real income, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can say that I make more through Substack now than I did the entire first 2 years the illustration department was up and running. It's getting there. I mean, yeah, I mean, that would be great if if it became this. I mean, the goal for me, I don't know when this will happen, if it ever happens, maybe when I'm 60, many, 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 many years from now, is it's like six figures. That would be fantastic. But who knows if Substack is even around at that point? Let's all knock on wood, cross our fingers, and say that it is. Adam, what are your experience? What do you think about that?
I forget the question. I was just so enthralled by everything you guys had to say and so heartbroken by how Jason started.
Well, the revenue stream,
Got it.
balance between illustration, work,
So
Substack,
like Jason, Jason is a cartoonist. I've dreamt of being a cartoonist. I just love having this relationship with an audience. And that's something I've been trying to find. And Substack is the first place where you have it and you don't have to go through a syndication or anything like that. So it's definitely been my goal for the past 4 years since I've been doing this, that one day this would pay for everything, or at least pay the base tier of my income, and then everything else could be a bonus. So I'm working towards that. And the cool thing, talking about getting paid every day, is it's growing in that very consistent way that the more work you put into it, you actually see the result. And I think it's part of it is the nature that Substack itself is growing. So just by virtue of being there, you're growing. So that's one reason to jump in. But if you're intentional about what you do and clear about what you're offering, I feel there's a lot of opportunity. And then it's just, can you keep doing that for 10 years? And yeah, I'm committed to doing that. Paying for everything through Substack.
Right. This is one of those things that I'll think about until I start editing it and realize, oh, it's not so bad. I feel like all we've been talking about is money. Feels a little crass. So let's go back to the creativity part. Jason, has it, or how has it helped your creative practice?
Honestly, I know this is going to sound like hyperbole. It sounds like I'm overselling here. But this has been one of the most creatively fulfilling things I've ever done, because everything else I've ever done, I had to adhere to a style guide or a house style. I did a legacy strip, so I had to draw in someone else's style for a long time. If I worked for the New Yorker or Mad, they art direct it. I'm drawing everything I want to draw in the way I want to draw it, and people are, thank God, they're enjoying reading it. I have been able to experiment with like my style to find my voice, and this has been the vehicle for that over the last 5 years. I've really stopped thinking about, you mentioned before, like, stop trying to please the world. Don't create what you think is going to get likes. Just create what you like and people will find it.
Exactly.
And that's exactly kind of what I did. That was my ethos from the beginning. And so creatively, I feel so free to just like mess around and try new styles and try new forms, do live videos, do whatever I feel like sets my heart on fire. And honestly, I've never really had that. I haven't had that for a very, very long time. And as crass as talking about money is, it's like, how crazy is it that you actually, it's not some side hobby or something that just doesn't do anything, but I know people get funny about side hustles having to be monetized, but I just feel like creatively I'm open to so many more things now. I love it. And so, yeah, that's been the biggest thing for me, is that I'm allowed to now draw the way that I want to draw and the things that I want to draw and write about without being told how to do it. Yep. And it's amazing.
Yep. Adam?
I think it is a creative thing, and I feel that some people come on, feel like it's a thing they need to do so that they can do their other thing. Let's say an illustrator, oh, everyone's on Instagram, I need to do that. I need to do Reels, now I need to go to Substack. Oh, what a drag. And I think if you come to it like that, it's not going to serve you much. Yeah. I really see it as something that I would like to do and something that gives me fulfillment. So just creating a publication like Jason is something that brings me fulfillment. I'll do it for free, but don't tell the paid subscribers.
I won't. I won't tell anyone. It's just this. Yeah. This episode is just for the three of us. No one's gonna hear it. Yeah. I mean, again, a little. Maybe this will sound hyperbolic. This will sound like an oversell, but it's honest and true. I'm a far better writer now than I was a year and a half ago, without a doubt. I've read some of my very, very first posts, and I mean, they are grammatically all over the place. punctuation isn't where it's supposed to be, flow of the writing, my just voice. Those first posts just felt like a post I thought it needed to sound a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then at some point along the line, I just started writing for that one person, for me. Maybe that one person's me, and started throwing in some cuss words every now and then. Who cares? Here's one. Shit. There. I said a cuss word. Do you know what I mean? So now it just feels more natural. And I'm, God, this is going to sound so freaking like braggadocious, but like
Do it.
I love the way I'm writing now. And
Great.
there's
That's good.
zero chance I'd be writing the way I'm writing if it wasn't for Substack. That is not an oversell at all.
Right. I mean, that honestly, doing the thing and getting good at it, getting your 10,000 hours in or whatever that is, but also just feeling like you're actually making progress on a thing that you like to do and want to get good at. Mm-hmm. You talked about reposting things like down the track. Often if I repost something, I'll rewrite it a bit. I'll have another stab at it and go, you know what? I hate the way I wrote this the first time around, or this paragraph doesn't have right. I'll rewrite it in my new voice, in the thing that I've become a better writer for sure, and I don't consider myself a writer. I'm a cartoonist or an illustrator who can write, but I would never say, oh, I'm a writer. But writing is so hard to do well. The more you try, the more you realize how hard it is.
Yeah.
But there's just one way to get better at it, and that's to write.
Exactly. And they don't have to be long. That's one thing I learned, and we'll sort of wrap it up with like, what's the one big lesson? I'll start. It's my podcast. I'm hosting. I'll start. The big thing I've learned is that the posts don't have to be 3,000 words. For some stupid reason, I thought they needed to be. They needed to be long, and so I was giving, the value was in the length of the posts, and obviously that's not correct.
Some of my most successful posts, most engaged posts, are like 2 paragraphs long.
Yeah. Adam, what's the one big lesson you've learned since being on Substack since 2021? Was it?
I'm stalling in my head now, so we'll have to use some of that editing capability. I was formulating the thoughts. I got it now. Okay.
Editing? I'm not editing anything. I'm leaving. This is all completely raw. I'm just going to post it the minute we finish recording.
That's cool. That's cool.
Kidding.
Just kidding.
When I first started
the thing I would say,
when I first started the podcast, Adam, I'll buy you some time. When I first started the podcast, oh my God, I can't speak now. When I first started the podcast, I took from the first 15 or 20 episodes and strung them together. And it was, so my first, it was like, I still have the file. Maybe I'll post it one day, or I'll put it in an episode or something. It's pretty musical too. It's actually kind of weird how musical it sounds.
I love that.
Adam, I've bought you enough time. Come on, man.
Okay.
What's your lesson?
Try to be of service. And
good one. What
I mean by that is like everyone has some unique talent and some place in this ecosystem. So we're not trying to be each other. We're not even trying to outdo each other. We're trying to find a place where we can be helpful. So I think if everyone tries to do that, it enriches the whole community, and it doesn't become a competition, but we are helping each other grow. We're helping each other to this dream of having direct access to an audience and helping them with what they are interested in. And I think all that comes from a place of service. Like, what can you give?
Beautiful. Jason, try to follow that up.
Yeah, I love that. Jeez, I wish it closed with Adam. Yeah, well, I think be open to learning, and like the biggest lessons that I've learned, because I just made a lot of mistakes over the past 5 years with Substack. I was just making it up as I went. Is be open to listening and learning to other people. I've learned everything I know about Substack from like people like Austin Kleon and Mason Curry and these people who are on it and who have done this for longer than I have. And I don't want to. I always feel like such a dilettante because I feel like I feel weird calling myself an expert on anything really, because I'm always learning about it. So I think be open to learning. The other best advice that I got that I will sort of close with is. Feed only those who show up for dinner. Don't get hung up. Turn off the notifications on settings for when people unsubscribe. Don't get those emails. Just focus on the people who are showing up to dinner. Feed them. Don't worry. If someone unsubscribes, they're not your person. That's fine. And it's okay for them to not like what you do. You're just not for them. And I think that's a really important thing. Find your people, feed only those who show up for dinner.
To learn more about Jason and Adam, visit jasonchatfield.com and adamming.com. If you find value in this podcast, you can support it by subscribing to my best-selling Substack. For $5 a month or $50 a year, you will access hundreds of articles on the art, practice, and history of illustration, unlock bonus podcast episodes called Extra Credit, and connect with other members of the ID community. Join me on Substack by visiting illustrationdept.substack.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.